House Republicans remain deadlocked over a choice for House Speaker. Let's bring in Republican Congressman Andy Barr of Kentucky. He supports Kevin McCarthy for House Speaker. Congressman, thanks so much for joining us. McCarthy has now lost 6 times in a row. What's next?
Well, you can look at it that way, or you can look at it from the perspective that Kevin McCarthy won the vote among Republicans over 200 members to 26 times. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist or a mathematician to figure out that's a landslide victory within the Republican conference. Of course, it's not enough to earn the speakership, but it just goes to show this is a lopsided, vast supermajority within the Republican conference to elect Speaker McCarthy, to elect Kevin McCarthy as Speaker of the House. And when is the last time, I'm from Kentucky, when is the last time you saw Mitch McConnell and Donald Trump on the same page? That means a wide swath within the Republican Party is supporting Kevin McCarthy. Kevin McCarthy's done more to earn this majority for the Republican Party than any other member. So, look, at the end of the day, we need to make some reforms to fix a broken Congress, and I agree with the 20 or so members who want to make those reforms. But McCarthy is making those reforms, and so at the end of the day, I think he will be elected Speaker.
Do you think these reforms, these changes to the legislative process, these changes to the appropriations process, we just talked to Congressman Bishop of North Carolina, who doesn't want any omnibus spending bills. He wants individual appropriations bills, as used to be the case like 10 years ago. Do you think that it is possible to cut this deal before 8 p.m. tonight?
Well, I agree with Representative Bishop, and so does Kevin McCarthy. None of us want a broken appropriations process. We're all fundamentally on the same page. Yes, I do believe that we can make some progress. I think the members who have voted against Representative McCarthy recognize that they are not within the mainstream of the conference. The bulk of the conference, over 200 members, are sticking with Kevin McCarthy, and those pro-McCarthy members do not want to reward a dysfunctional process that actually enables the Democrat minority, the Democrat minority. We need to stick together. Unity is required to actually advance the conservative cause. Disunity is the enemy of advancing the conservative agenda, and every day that goes by where Kevin McCarthy is not Speaker of the House is a day we don't defund the 87,000 IRS agents. It's a day we don't secure the border. It's a day we don't deal with 40-year high inflation. It's a day we don't get to conduct oversight over this Biden administration that has to date been unchecked, and there has been no checks and balances with the regulatory agenda of this administration. So we know we have to get on with electing a speaker so that we can actually advance our agenda. I am floating a few ideas with those members who have voted against Speaker McCarthy to continue to try to find reforms that would bring them along and to unify our conference. One of those seems to be continuing to reform the steering committee process. Most of the grievances that I'm hearing from those members relate to their access or fair access to appointments to committees. But no member should have special treatment. And so we could do a few things to the steering committee process to give the Freedom Caucus a seat at the table, to give the Republican Study Committee, the Tuesday group, the moderate members, each a specific representative, a delegate to the steering committee, so that everybody feels like they have a fair and equal shot at committee assignments.
So obviously, the red wave that Kevin McCarthy predicted did not happen. Republicans won back control of the House by a very slim margin. One of the reasons for that, analysts say, is that there were a lot of extreme candidates, people on the far right of your party. And I'm wondering if you think, although certainly not each individual one, but if these 20 being further empowered in any way might actually exacerbate that problem and make it as though all you guys care about is a laptop investigation, for example, as opposed to the issues that you just talked about, immigration, inflation, fentanyl, and on, and oversight, which is obviously important. I'm wondering if you're worried about that.
You know, I'm not really worried about it, and I actually applaud those members with whom I disagree about the speaker's race about wanting to reform the institution. I agree with them on that. But in order for us to advance those reforms, to actually lock in the wins that they have achieved in persuading leadership to make these changes to the Rules Committee. In order to lock in those wins, we have to elect a speaker. We have to advance our agenda. We have to be unified to actually serve as that check and balance. So I am appealing to my colleagues to look, take yes for an answer. Accept the fact that we have made some successful reforms here, lock them in, and bank those wins, and let's keep fighting.
Yeah, but I mean, don't tell me. Tell Congressman Bishop and Matt Gaetz and all the others. I mean, what do they say when you say that to them? Hey, we've acquiesced on so many of these things. Kevin McCarthy and I and everyone else also want to reform the process. We also want individual appropriations bills. We also want a more open amendment process. What do they say when you tell them that?
Well, again, a lot of these grievances center around what they perceive as their access to an appointment to a committee, and they feel locked out of the process, and there's a lack of trust. So I think if we reform the process and create a steering committee where everybody feels like they have an equal shot, I think that could move votes in favor of Kevin McCarthy, those who are not voting for him right now. I'm actually getting some positive feedback from members that I've had personal, private conversations with. I've relayed that back to Kevin McCarthy and his staff, and I'm going to continue to work and listen to all sides. Listen to those pro-McCarthy members who say, look, I'm never going to change my vote, and I'm never going to reward dysfunction. And I'm also going to continue to listen to my colleagues who are skeptical of Kevin's candidacy, and listen to what it is that they actually feel like they need to get the reforms that they need to open up the process. Mm-hmm. One thing I have emphasized to my colleagues who are opposed to Kevin as Speaker of the House is that no group should have special treatment. We're the Republican Party. We believe in merit-based appointments. We don't believe in seniority. We believe in merit-based. That means that everyone should be able to go in front of the steering committee and persuade them that they deserve to be on this committee or that committee.
Yeah.
And no speaker, whether it's Kevin McCarthy, Steve Scalise, Byron Donalds, Jim Jordan, no Speaker of the House can guarantee any individual member a position on a committee. It's a committee. It's a steering committee. And if we can open up that process, reform that process so that members have confidence in that process, not trust in a single individual person, I think we can make some progress and get this thing resolved so we can move forward with our agenda.
All right, Republican Congressman Andy Barr, thanks so much. Good to see you.